Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers Showcase video. In today's video, we're looking at another land vehicle from the OPC collection, and this one is called the OPC Vulcan, which is its lovely thing right here. So this is a heavy armed small block vehicle that features a fully controllable turret at the top there where we can move it left, right, up and down to blast your enemies with. Pressing F10 and finding it in the spawn menu. Here it is down here, as well as all the other items from the OPC collection. So we see there the jump drive attachment, the little mining drone, got our cargo truck, and down here we got our exploration vessel. But over to the Vulcan, this thing is 730 small blocks using the Wasteland DLC packs. It does use a script, which is for the realistic driving, so when you were to turn left or right, you will get an indicator at the back of the vehicle, which will just flick in the corresponding direction. As well as when you come to a stop, you will get brake lights that will just quickly flick on. We'll give this thing a thumbs up. We'll then move all the way around to the very front. We'll have a quick look around the outside. Then we'll drive this thing around and there should be a pirate base nearby. There it is. And we can go and roll this up to see how it handles it. Yes, at the very front right here, this is what we get. Front and center, we've got ourselves a camera to drive this thing around. Because once we're in the cockpit, we cannot see anything except a couple of LCD screens. On the left and right of this, and making up most of the vehicle, we got some grey digital camouflage skin blocks, and we can see where our camera is attached, some black digital camouflage skin blocks. Yes, just above that we can see our turret, which is made out of some more grey digital camouflage skin blocks, and it's simply been attached on via a rotor for the left, right, and another rotor for the up and down. We can see two Gatling guns to blast our enemies with another camera to help aim this thing precisely, with its spotlight in case it's really dark. We'll come back to that a bit later. If we were to move across and around the side of the vehicle, there is one of our spotlights, just in case we need to light up the darkness while driving this thing around, in case there's a nearby cliff that you don't really want to jump off. Along the side here, we then got a button, which is going to be how we're going to open the door from this side. On the other side, we also have a button that will be for the gunner's seat. We just go and press that button, and then that door will fold all the way down to the ground. Then we can get on the inside. We've got two little control seats to drive this thing around. In fact, I think they're rover seats. I always get them mixed up. Yes, this is the inside. We've got an LCD screen right here telling us all about our vehicle control script and whether or not our connector is connected to anything. Come back to that a bit later when we go on the inside. Moving around and towards the back of the vehicle, we've got even more Wasteland wheels. And we can see some more great block work. Then at the very back, this is what we get. So we've got a connector to dock this thing up, load it up with hydrogen in case we need to, or even ammunition for the turret. We also got some great use of our letter block spelling out the GST. And then all the way over to here, we got ourselves a bunch of Wasteland spotlights where you might be able to see the red ones are sort of flickering, because the vehicle is sort of coming to a stop and then wobbling around a bit due to the rotors. Just below our connector, we got ourselves a camera to reverse this thing up, as well as a hinge part to connect up a trailer in case you want to make a large convoy and transport stuff from one place to another. If we were to drop down and come underneath, that is what we get. We can see our hydrogen engines right there, which is giving it a little bit of power, where all of our wheel suspensions are connecting up to the main body. There's our hinges, which are for the doors on the side to fold all the way down to the ground. And then towards the front there we go. If we were to come all the way up and above and look down, we've got a bunch of parachute hatches just in case something goes horribly wrong while jumping over a cliff. There is our gun and how that's all been connected up. There is a hinge connecting up to our Gatling guns at the front there with our camera to aim them straight forwards. I think I said it was a rotor earlier, it was my mistake. But yes, you just lift it up and down and it'll be fit very snugly between the steel blocks on the side there, which go across to our connector. And there we are, we've got another camera up there to help dock up any kind of ship that comes across to quickly recharge you. And then towards the back there, even more parachute hatches, and we can see some batteries for some emergency power. And there we go, that is a very brief look around the outside of the OPC Vulcan, and does look fantastic for how it's been set up. So what we can do now is just grab hold of my character, get off the floor, there we go. Now we can come across to one of these buttons. So this door is for the driver's seat, where we can press that and it'll fold all the way down. When we come around to the opposite side, there we are. This is for the gunner's seat, where it just comes down. We now just hop up to here. There we go. Now we can get on inside. So on the inside, this is what we get. And for our hotbar, we can press number 2, and that will close up the door on the side, sealing us in. There we are, that's all the light we get from that little interior light, and we can't really see anything else. But pressing number 1, this is going to activate our remote control block, and this is for the turret on top. If I just move the camera all the way like so, and then press number 3, that'll undo the rotor, and now we can turn this thing around. There we go, I'm trying to be very careful there, and we can lift the guns up and down to then shoot our enemies with. There we go, we now start to spin that around, and up and down. Oh god, there we go. It does get a little bit stuck when you're moving it up and down, so do be aware of that. Might just be my mouse. Anyway, we'll go lock that back into place. We'll now come into first person view, and now we'll go through the camera. So there we are, we can now turn this around. We can aim all the way forwards. There we are, it's a little bit juddery to move up and down, and then we can start shooting our Gatling gun. There we go, we can turn that all the way around. So now we'll just bring that to the front, we'll lock it in place, we'll come out of there, hop it out of the seat, and we'll come back to the opposite side to drive this thing around. So just opening that up, and I think there might be a dust storm coming, so let's just go and get rid of that. Don't really want to have that. There we go, much better. Anyway, getting to that seat, this is what we get from this side, so instead of having nothing, we've got our LCD screen, and we can always press number 2, close up the door on the side. For the actual controls for the vehicle itself, number 1 is for the camera at the very front, so we can get a good view at what's going on. Number 2 and 3 is for the doors on the side, where number 2, as you saw, was for this door to open and close it, and number 3 is for that door to open and close that one. Number 4 is for our batteries to toggle it on and off, and number 5 is for our hydrogen engine to toggle that on and off as well. Number 6 is for our spotlights at the very front to turn that on and off, so we don't have to press L, and number 7 is for our parachute hatches to open and close them, just in case you need them. Number 8 and number 9 is for our cameras at the back and the top of the vehicle, so pressing number 8, that is the rear camera, and number 9 is going to be for the top camera, so there's a lovely sun all the way up to there. If we were to come over to tab number 2, this is generally stuff that we're not going to be playing around with, and it's more about attaching a trailer. So number 1 and number 2 is going to be to attach and detach that hinge at the back there, so you just drive up a trailer, and just lock it in place. Number 3 and number 4 is to turn on and off our connector at the back and the top there, there we go. And number 5 is simply to lock and unlock them. Number 6 is simply a toggle for the script in case it gets randomly shut off. And that is just about it for the controls. So what we can do now is I can quickly demonstrate the actual driving script. So if I was to bring the camera all the way like this and start to turn left, there's our blinking indicator, and then turning right, there we go. If I was to drive forwards a little bit then come to a stop, you'll see the red lights will come on a little bit. They're a bit dim, but there we go. And yes, as for actually driving this thing around, we are on a nice flat planet, because I do like driving it around. And I'm not too sure why the game froze up there. Perhaps the drone just spawned in. No, it did not. Yes, this is what we get. We can get about 40 meters per second. That looks like quite a dangerous area to be going. This might not be very good. And we don't have gyroscope controls, so we're just going to have to hope that we don't do that. But because we've got some heavy armor, we are much more resilient than usual. It's not too much of an issue, and I think we lost our camera. Yes, we did. We can't use the camera at the front there, so we will have to rely on a third-person view. That would be one change I would make to this vehicle, and that would be to include a gyroscope somewhere on here, just to make it a bit more controllable when you go off a cliff. But if you're driving responsibly and not just driving around like a maniac like I am, it wouldn't be too much of an issue. So what we can do now is just drive all the way over to the pirates into the distance, and we can have a little bit of fun with that. It's not going to go very well because we don't have any automated turrets, so we're probably going to get destroyed before we can get into a decent range. So unfortunately, the pirate outpost over there was a proper outpost with a defense shield and everything, so we can't go and shoot it. So we're simply going to have to barrel ourselves across this cliff to see what happens, because there's not too much else to talk about. It's very self-explanatory with how it all works and how it's all been set up. And it's just a fantastic little vehicle if you do want a heavy armoured small block assault vehicle. But yes, there'll be a link to it in the description below if you do wish to download and play around for yourself. I highly recommend you do, and I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.